Hello, my loves. We'll get started in a few minutes. Welcome, especially if you're showing up for the first time. No, not especially. Welcome to everyone regardless, right? No special treatment. Welcome to everyone, whether it's your first time or your 500th. I'm grateful and honored to be holding space and to offer us some time together, some time to just simply drop into the moment. It's such an extraordinary experience when we can clear some space and time for ourselves to just simply drop into the moment. And with great possibility, we can then realize that the moment is truly rich and full, regardless of the difficulties within us and around us in this crazy time that we're living in. We give the moment a chance, and we give ourselves a chance within the moment to have a different relationship to it, perhaps to react less and to simply respond more. It's a real game changer. So thank you. Thank you for choosing to sit with us, Make no mistake, you are not alone right now. Come into a comfortable seat and recognize that your seat today might be different from your seat yesterday because you're different. So how you choose to sit, what you do with your body, where you place your head, where you place your entire being in this moment in time is a reflection on where you're at right now. Let's tune in. Breathe in. Namaste. So there is a big, beautiful lavender bush close to my house. One of my neighbors grows it out on his front lawn. He has a beautiful front lawn. And I pass it every day on my way here on foot, on foot. And I have this kind of like little ritual thingy where I brush my hand past the bush on a daily basis, and then I kind of rub my fingers against it and smell the refresh, the beautiful scent of lavender, which is, I guess you could say, my favorite scent. So it's really nice that I have that at my fingertips on a daily basis. And recently, as I go to brush my hand along and give it a little squeeze, the scent is not nearly as potent as it was a few weeks ago. So, this is a sign of change. The plant is beginning to dry because the plant is beginning to die because the season is changing. And, this is, for most of us, change is a very difficult pill to swallow. There are, of course, some of us that really do delight and enjoy change, but I think it's probably safe to say that the majority of us, myself included, would prefer things to stay as they are, especially if you like something. Yet there it is. The season is teaching me this incredible lesson that the oil is no longer able to be extracted from this beautiful bush because it is drying, because it is dying. And I will have to wait till next season to receive that scent again. So for a lot of us, season, especially on the East Coast, season might be quite difficult as it changes. I know for me personally, I have a difficult time when it shifts from summer to fall. Not that there is really anything wrong with fall, it is equally beautiful, but summer is my thing. I enjoy the heat, I enjoy sun. So I'm sad to see it go as we transition ourselves. I think it's Monday into Tuesday that we're at fall equinox. So typically this is a difficult transition for me, and I always get through it. But this time, of course, it seems a little bit more challenging because facing the darkness and the dampness that we are very much accustomed to here on the East Coast, and particularly in Western New York, the dark and the damp, in addition, coupled with, COVID still being around, and the great possibility and hard reality is isolation is just soon to come, which, is not very palatable to me anyway. So for all of us to have been kind of free and outside roaming, and soon, unfortunately, I hate to even talk about it, but it is part of our reality that more than likely we're going to be heading back into our homes. And I'm having a tough time with that reality, and the practice is always how to embrace what is real, how to have a relationship to the current. So this little ritual, going back to me brushing the bush in order to get the fragrance, now I remind myself as I brush the bush that the fragrance is no longer available to me, and it's helping me. I walk past that shrub 4 times a day. So I practice 4 times a day, accepting my new reality, which is something that I enjoy is no longer available to me. Something that I enjoy is no longer available to me. And now I get a chance to have a relationship with that in such a way that I can respond to it rather than react to it. And, it really is a game changer. The practice of acceptance, right? It's not being forced upon me, and it doesn't have to create torture. It doesn't have to make my life so unpleasant that I'm not enjoying it at all, right? It doesn't have to pull me into deep depression. It is something that we all, if we care to, work on in such a way that we can live with it, that we can live with what we don't like. The practice of acceptance. And this is not easy, right? So it's one of the many reasons why we have community, why we come together. There's such medicine in relatability, that you're not alone. If you happen to be struggling with, any of the gazillion crazy things that are happening in this world right now, talk about, what was the phrase that I just used a moment ago? The dry that creates the die, right? The drying of the plant because the plant is dying. poor people out west, I don't know if anybody's tuning in right now from West Coast, but my goodness, right? The fire is creating a drying, which, is inevitably a dying. The trees are dying. People in their homes, right? Die off, right? And this is so big and so profound that it's so much easier to just turn the other way and locate another distraction and grab something that you do like to take its place immediately, rather than sitting in the reality of our existence and having a relationship to that reality, to slowly teach yourself how to accept what is the truth of your reality. All those things that we don't like. And somehow our culture is latched on to this kind of tenacity of hold tightly to what you like, do not let it go. Because if you do, nothing else will take its place. And that's a great falsity, right? It is only when we can let something go that our hand is now open and poised to receive something new. So, we're in full moon, we're in new moon right now, and, the lunar, along with the season change as we approach equinox, we're so incredibly poised right now because we're just in a new moon. So we have these two changes, shifts that are occurring in nature, that the moon can be such a great teacher for each and every one of us. It doesn't matter how much we know about it, it's just sitting in observance of the shape in the sky from new to full, from darkness to light, because that's a natural rhythm, right? The tide that responds to the light of the moon and or the lack of it, the wane and the wax, right? So we aspire as people that are seeking to be open, as people that are seeking to be of yoga, of union, people that are just seeking to be well, to get through this crisis well. We aspire to use these guides, the guide of nature in season transition, the guide of light, the guide of moon as it shifts, so that we're always in rhythm, that we're in natural rhythm, not just holding on to that one thing that we like, right? But letting things pass, letting things come, letting things go, letting things come, letting things go. And I think it's fair to say that as we age, we adhere, like we hold tightly to the stuff that we like, and we want to change less instead of be willing to change more, or just change at a natural pace, right? So allowing ourselves to be open to these kind of natural rhythms of things coming in and then things dying off, right? Impermanent, right? And schooling ourselves in acceptance of what is while it's there is the very thing that ushers in the new phase of our lives, right? So we fool ourselves into thinking tenacity is the thing that keeps us like together and on course, but it's actually the opposite. It's the letting go of what we're attached to most that creates the natural cycle and flow and evolution, the evolution of us. And breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Again. One more. Feel free to move around a little. Jostle the shoulders. Move through the waist and the ribs. Bobble the head. Soften the neck. And then allow yourself to settle into this moment, to really approach this moment that you are living right now as you drop into your seat. You are dropping into this moment. And just take a moment to see what's there. What are the sounds like? What are the sensations like? What is the temperature like? And then maybe less about what you like and more about just what is. And knowing that it's all gonna shift. It's gonna shift in the next few seconds. It's gonna shift in the next few cycles of your existence, the century of your life. It's eventually gonna all shift. So there's grace to just really drop into it. This privilege to be present in the here, in the now. Unclench the bum. Sometimes it really just helps us to let go a little of our stubbornness and our tenacity as we release through the hips and the thighs and the bum. And dropping heavily down into the weight of your thighs. Deepening your relationship to ground. And then just slowly come to elevate the waist without losing the downward drop of the hips. And try not to work it too hard. Just a gentle elevation of the waist. And notice that as you elevate the waist, you make space in the midsection. And this is just simply space to breathe with more ease. Space to breathe with more ease. And softening through the ribs, and the cartilage of the ribs. If it feels comfortable for you, go ahead and lift the very top of your head, the very crown. Deepening your relationship to sky, to limitlessness, to abundance, to spaciousness above you. Get a sense of airspace that lives above the crown of the head. And once again, it's a decompression that inspires the breath to move with more ease. As we make space inside the body through the elevation of the waist and the crown, let's just take some time to notice the breath. Softening through the underbelly and the high lungs. Observing how when you breathe in, the belly puffs. And when you breathe out, the belly empties. Dropping into this moment as you notice your breath. And notice that the breath passes, that it does not last, that the inhale starts, and then the inhale kind of dies off and morphs its way into the exhale, that there's this bit of a rhythm, just like the ebb and flow of the ocean. At some point the inhale stops and the exhale begins. Schooling us in this sense of impermanence and this rhythm of breath as it flows through us naturally. No matter how much we'd like to hold, we just let the breath pass through us. And as we watch this breath passing through us, we are practicing acceptance. That at some point everything dies off, everything dries and dies, and then everything rebuilds and regrows. We'll take it a little further, encouraging the breath to move from the navel to the chest on the inhale, and the chest to the navel on the exhale. And see if you might not force this, but just watch this happen. This incredible gift and act of breathing. And once again, at some point, the inhale is done, right? The inhale finishes. And that's where the exhale begins. And at some point, the exhale ends, and that's where the inhale begins. Let's see if we can soften at the back of the lungs and the back of the heart. Slowly building this breath to pranayama exercise, the expansion of our breath capacity. Empty the breath from the underbelly. And slowly breathe in. Gently retain in. Gradually breathe out. Gently retain in. Slowly breathe in. Gently retain in. And gradually breathe out. Gently retain in. Slowly breathe in. Retain. Breathe out. Retain. Breathe in. Retain. Breathe out. Retain. Release the lock of the underbelly, letting the breath go, letting the breath flow through the entire body. Feel free to move it. Feel free to move it so that you can free the breath itself. Right? Less compression in the midsection, more space internally. And then just a few more moments here. We'll hold space for each other to simply sit in observance of the breath, watching how at some point the exhale ends and the inhale begins. And as we watch this breath turn the corners, turn the season, as we watch this breath turn, it's teaching us kind of subliminally, kind of experientially. It's teaching us the practice of acceptance, the practice of letting go, of holding tightly, the practice of taking what comes next, flowing with our lives as best we can in this moment in time. Observe the breath as it moves through the body. Slowly bring the hands together at the center of the heart. Let's take a moment of gratitude for the time that we have cleared out for this gentle practice of awareness. May it inspire the rest of our day. May it keep us open to the what is. May it give us the encouragement to accept change as it occurs naturally. And breathe in. Namaste. Have the best day you can have today. So I'm curious how everyone's doing. Please feel free to send me a message or two. I will read them all right after. But also feel free to reach each other by this kind of cosmic chalkboard, if you will. It's really important that we stay connected, especially as we all brave this transition eventually back indoors. Right now we're still outside for the most part, but eventually. So we want to keep this chain going. I'm curious specifically about how the breath exercise is going for you. If you've been practicing with me for a while, we've been at it for now, 6 months or so. So please feel free to jot me either a personal message or here on how your breathing has been lately. I will be outside in our parking lot this evening at 7 o'clock for anyone that's local. Tomorrow at 9:30, that is both local and virtual. I'll be on Zoom at the same time. And then tomorrow, once again, anybody that is local, I'll be offering music and meditation out in Delaware Park at the Rose Garden. Rose Garden is a beautiful setting here in Buffalo, and there's going to be a very talented group of musicians supporting sound waves and healing music for an hour that I'll be leading a meditation through. Thank you all for the contributions. I truly am grateful. This big crisis, as there are now, so many that we're all experiencing, but the big original one that we started with 6 months ago has taught me so much about receiving. So I'm truly grateful. Let us seal it. Let us send it. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you live with an easy heart. Namaste.